Hey, what's cracking? How are you doing today? I hope this day has gone well for you. Today is Mother's Day if you're watching this video when I put it up. And I always like to start the videos asking you to think about a few things you're thankful for, ways you're blessed in your life, to maybe change your perspective and make you look at life in better eyes, better view. And that's one thing I'm certainly thankful for today is my mother. And many Mother's Days, I was locked away. I couldn't call home and wish her a happy Mother's Day. I couldn't talk to her at all. I had to send her a letter and hope it got there in time. I couldn't even get a card unless I had someone draw one for me or do it myself. So it really felt good to me today to be able to go down to the store and pick out a card, the one I wanted, and me and my wife signed it, and I got her some flowers and a little gift that I picked out for her. Not nothing big, but just being able to go over and hug her and kiss the top of her head and tell her I love her and tell her Happy Mother's Day, that means so much to me. And I want to tell you that alone is a bigger blessing than anything else most things that you'll ever find in your life. So I hope that you got to say thank you to your mother today and wished her a happy Mother's Day. And I hope that if you don't have a mother anymore, I hope that you still think about the ways that you were blessed with her in your life. And if not with your mother, in other ways in your life that you're blessed. Because when you think about the ways you're blessed in your life, it changes your perspective on the day, on your life all the way around. And instead of looking at life in the way of things that you don't have. And if this is the first time you've ever checked out one of my videos, my name is Ricky Dye, and I went to prison when I was 15. I didn't get out for 20 and a half years. That wasn't the sentence, that's how long I was there, in all the roughest places, medium and maximum security. I started off by telling my story from the very beginning, the crime, what happened, juvenile center, county jail, and on through prison. And if you stick with me, by the time we get finished with the story, you'll have known pretty much everything that happened to me. And that's been my goal. And I'm hoping to help some young person or a person of any age who's thinking about taking the wrong path and committing a crime or doing something wrong or maybe hurting themselves to maybe think twice about that and look at things through a little bit better eyes and better point of view. And maybe you can look at the way how rough my life is. Say, hey, if that guy can still be happy, so can I. Because so can you, man. And I am. Every day of my life, I'm happy. I feel blessed. I choose to live my life that way. I want to be happy, and so I work for that. And I would like for you to do that too. I'll be praying for you that you do. And so I want to thank John Doe again. Brother, you're a soldier. If everybody had somebody like John Doe, I'm telling you, if everyone was like John Doe, I'd have 5,000 subscribers by now. He's always talking about the channel, encouraging me, trying to help me get more subscribers. For all the new subscribers, everyone, period, who has hit that subscribe button, I want to thank you. And if you haven't yet, hey, hit that subscribe button, man. If you don't want all the notifications, you can always turn those off in your settings. But thank you for everyone who's hit it. Please remember to share it so the right person sees the video. So if you've kept up with my story, I'm in McAlester now. And I'm most of the way through it. I want to use this video to try to wrap McAlester up. So if you remember talking about my stories all through here, you've noticed that I've gotten in trouble several times by playing poker. People are cheating me. I'm a pretty smart guy. I catch on to things pretty good. And that's why I just can't understand, just going by the odds, how can I keep losing so much? But it's because I keep getting cheated. And so Head knows this. He knew about the time that DP and Alec had to bail me out of that wreck over there over that poker game. And so there's a black guy over there, and his name is Willie Carr. Willie Carr is an OG, man. And he's passed away now. He died in a cell in McAlester. But he did a lot of time in McAlester, and he was looked up to by all the blacks. And the whites as well, a lot of them. And because of that, Head Austin, he was highly respected among the whites, and him and Willie were pretty tight. So he pulled Willie up, and he told Willie, he said, this kid's got a lot of time to do, and he's pretty smart, and he likes to play poker, but these guys, they're cheating him left and right. And he laughs at me and says, this young'un, he can't catch nothing. They're just pulling the wool over his eyes, taking everything from him. But there's going to come a time maybe when he don't have anyone visiting him, and maybe he's going to need a hustle, a way to make a little bit of money here and there to get the things you need in prison if nobody's sending you any money. So he got Willie to teach me basically how to cheat. Not so that I could cheat, but so that I could catch the other people when they did. He taught me how it was that they were working together and how to recognize when people were working together. He taught me how to control the way the table ran, the bets, by being the house man. And I've explained in other videos what kind of cuts you get by being the house man and why it is that that's a hustle. If you can just sit there and don't play very many hands, you're going to cut money off the table so that you win by the end of the day. So it's almost a guaranteed win every time. A way for you to make money so you can get stamps, things that you might need to eat on if they have a bad meal. But I wanted to get through that, so I leave McAlester. Now I have a hustle. I'm a little bigger. I'm being looked at a little different. So I've been running around with these killers, and I'm going to tell you that when you run around these killers all the time, one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to end up a killer, or you're going to catch out, or you're going to be their homosexual. And there's no other way about that. You're going to end up just like them, or you'll be beneath them, or you'll be their girl. And they gave me their word they would never press the homosexual thing on me, Jack and Head did. So they didn't. But they always made little comments, like, if you ever did decide to, if you ever did decide to. And if you did, you want to be the best you can be, Like if I did decide to be a girl, I should try to be as pretty a one as I could, right? Well, that wasn't going to happen. But once I helped them guys get out of the little jam they was in with those drugs, then they started to look at me more like a friend than like a kid, okay? So now I've made a friendship with these guys, and they're looking at me a lot different. They treat me as an equal almost. Not as an equal, because I'm not an equal, make no mistake. I am not these guys' equal when it comes to killing and fighting. I'm not. I can hold my own, but I have no, Head seen me trying to get like that, and he would tell me, don't start trying to be mean, because it's hard to be nice once you've done that. Don't do that. Get out of there. Get out of this place and don't ever come back. And so that's what I was trying to do. So when they locked Jack up, they went ahead and kind of locked Head up too on investigation over that drug deal. They got them both, took them at the same day. And so we got them to let me move in with Head's cell partner. And we still had a bunch of canteen down there, stuff they wasn't able to get rid of. So what we were doing, we was loaning it out, and then Danny would just collect it back. DP would collect it back, and he was going to give it to them after they worked their way out of DU and back down the hill. They'd have some stuff to start with. So anything I needed, I was just asking DP for it, and he had me covered. So everything went all right there for a couple months. I tell you, it takes 2 years to get out of McAlester. So I've only been there about close to one. It's been about 10 or 11 months it's been probably around 9 months when they get locked up. So I'm living with Head cell partner, and that lasts about 2 months. And then he gets shipped, and they put this guy in cell with me. We'll call him John. Now, John, he had been down here a long time. John has been locked up, I think 18 years at the time, but 12 of it he had been at McAlester. He had been at Stringtown when they had this big riot and took guards hostage and everything, and he had been the one that organized it, and he had held a shank to a guard's neck, and that's the reason he was at McAlester. And the only way he had a chance of ever getting out is every 2 years, because he had been there. He had to be there a minimum of 10 years. But he had been there for 12. So once he had been there for 10, every 2 years, he would go before a board that decided if he could come off H block, which is where they keep the death row inmates, in single solitary confinement, and it's underground. It's where lockup is at if you get in trouble. So at the end of 10 years, they voted that he could come off of that, off of H block, and go back to regular part of McAlester, which is where I'm at, on Seaside. So they've got him moved down there, and they put him in cell me. And this guy, he has lost his mind being down there underground. And I'm in cell with him, and I don't know what to think about this guy. So one way or another, he ends up getting a job because we're on 3-pod. I think he was working in the garment factory, and there's a homosexual that lives on the pod we're on 3, and his name's Brenda. And he's going over to this Brenda's cell and having this Brenda do shows for him on the bottom bunk, like a webcam would with a woman or something, having him do all kinds of lewd things, sticking his finger in himself and all kinds of crazy things for this guy to watch. So John's out there, man. And then one night we're in the cell, and this guy's trying to get me to let him give me a hand job. Tell me he would get more out of just giving me a hand job than he would out of watching Brenda do that stuff. That he don't want me to screw him in the butt. He don't want to give me oral sex or anything, and he's not pressing me to be a girl. He just wants to give me a hand job. That would really give him something, some feeling. I don't know, man. But I wasn't about to do that. I didn't know what to do about living with this guy. I was trying to figure out who I could move in with to get out of the cell with this guy. And out of nowhere, they come and pull me out of my cell. And I told you that my lawyer's name was Susan Bussey. Susan Bussey was the daughter of a man who was a judge on the state's Supreme Court of Appeals over Oklahoma. He had been blinded in Vietnam as a POW. Her mother was over DOC, so they had some stroke. And when I went to prison, she said she felt a lot of responsibility because she had no experience, and she was afraid that I wouldn't have got as much time if it wasn't for her being so inexperienced. So all the way through, she would try to help me. She came and visited me when I was at Lexington a couple times. But we would write letters, and my mom told me that it wasn't, that she thought the woman had a crush on me or something, because she would sign her letters "Love Susan" and put a heart around her name. Talked about taking me to ball games when I got out. And once when she talked to my mom when I was in McAlester, she told my mom mentioned that I was a boy, and she said, "He's not a boy no more, he's a man now." So my mom felt like she had maybe some feelings for me. So I was sitting there in my cell one day, though John was at work, and I'm dreading him getting out of work, and out of nowhere, they come and pull me out of my cell, take me down front to see Susan. And she said, "I've just taken a job as the Attorney General for the Federated States of Micronesia. I'm leaving the country tomorrow, but I can't leave the country knowing you're in McAlester. So I've went and I've pulled some strings, and I've got a favor, and you'll be pulling out of here. You'll be leaving later today." It's about 3 o'clock when she tells me this. And man, there's no way I'm thinking, no way I'm leaving today. No way. Usually if you do leave, it's in the morning. But man, it's not very often you see someone leave McAlester. And when you do, it's a person here, a person there. But never do you leave before you've been in there for 2 years. And I've been there about 11 months at this time. And I said, "Well, I'm leaving today. Yeah, I don't know which medium you'll go to, but they'll be taking you out of here and taking you whatever medium they can find a bed for you later today. Special favor for me." I said, "No, I don't believe this, but thank you for trying, Susan. I really appreciate it." "No, I'm telling you, you'll be gone today." They take me back, put me in my cell. And on my way back to my cell, I see the unit manager, Harry, reading. And I said, "Hey, Harry, have you heard anything about me shipping?" He said, "You ain't been here long enough to ship. You only been here about a year." I said, "Well, my lawyer's left. She told me I'm shipping today." He started laughing, said, "She blew smoke up your ass, pal. You ain't going nowhere." Took me back to my cell, and about 2 hours later, around 5 o'clock, Harry come down there and said, "I don't know who she talked to or how you manage that, but pack your shit. You're leaving." So I got to leave McAlester. Now, I want to tell you something that changed me about McAlester. Whenever I told you that that place makes you either end up being their kid, they're homosexual, which I was not going to be, or catch out, which I was not going to be, or you're going to want to be just like them. And that was my problem. I started wanting to be just like them. I quit thinking about going home because I've already decided I'm not going home for a long, long time. And I'm figuring that before I get to go home, someone will probably kill me. I've seen Jack stomp this guy in the shower. And now my worst nightmare is getting killed in the shower now. It always has been my worst nightmare, getting killed in the shower in prison. Dying alone, bleeding out, in the shower in prison. That's my worst nightmare. It's my worst fear, the worst way to die for me. I'd rather be set on fire. But when I left McAlester, I was no longer the little innocent kid. Now I want to be a criminal. I want to be a convict. The difference between an inmate and a convict is an inmate, he'll go along, he'll help the police. He's going to do things, help the police. He's not going to help you get away with anything. He's going to do what he can to get out of prison. He's not going to, he'll tell, whatever. But a convict will help your fellow convict. And he's always against the police, and he's always going to help another inmate, no matter what. It doesn't matter if they're black or what. You help them first before the police. You help a black guy before you help police. Mexican, Indian, doesn't matter. If you're black, you help a white guy before you help police. No matter what, it's us against police, man. And that's what I've decided. And now what's important to me, no more is going home. Now what's important to me is being somebody in prison. I want to be somebody. I want people to know me like they know Jack and Head, DP. I want people to talk about Ricky Dye and how hard he is. So that's what's about to happen, and my story's about to change. I'm about to quit being that kid you cried about and felt sorry over. I'm about to be the guy that you think ought to be in prison, that you think belongs there. And I'm going to tell you that I'm about to become somebody that I can't stand, I'm ashamed to tell you the things that I'm about to start telling you. And I stayed that way. I belonged in prison for a long, very long time. And I didn't change until I met my wife. And the only reason I changed when I met my wife, the only reason, I was about to go home and I had all kinds of plans how I was going to get me some money. And nobody better not tell me no. They couldn't keep me anymore. I decided y'all kept me as long as you could, and I did it all. And now you're going to pay. And then I met my wife. And I knew that my wife wouldn't accept that kind of man. I couldn't be that kind of man if I wanted to be with her. She wouldn't allow it. She wouldn't be with me. So I started to pretend to be the man that I thought she would be with. There I was. I put that mask on again. I told you before, you put that mask on, you pretend to wear that mask. Every day I put that mask on and told myself I was a killer. Every day. Every day. And I became a killer. And then I met my wife and I was, put that mask on. You're a good man. You're a good man. You're a good man. I kept doing things that good men do. And I became a good man. And that's how it works. You can't change anything about your past. Nothing. I wish I could change so many things, and I can't, man. I wasted so many years and hurt so many people that I love. I hurt myself. But I kept pretending to be a good man, kept doing things that good men do. And I became a good man. And that's what you can do too. If you want to be somebody different, you decide what you want to be, and you put that mask on and you wear it every day. And you'll become that. But I want you to remember in my upcoming stories, not to judge me too harshly. Remember, I was just a kid trying to survive in the beginning, trying to fit in, trying to be somebody in a hard, hard place. But I'm about to start doing things I'm not proud of. And when I pick up in the next one, I'll be back in medium security trying to make a name for myself. I'm not that little kid anymore. I've seen a few things. And I've gotten a little harder. And now I'm wanting to make a name for myself. I want to show them who Ricky Dye is now. I want to show them I ain't no kid. I ain't no punk. And I'll show you all. So we're going to pick up there. Hope you guys had a great Mother's Day. You'll all be in my prayers. Pray God bless, keep you and yours. Protect your family. And I hope to see you in the next one, brother. Have a good one. Peace out.